Welcome back to our channel. I'm Rob.
And I'm Tyler. If you're new to our channel, we are a couple that have been married for 32 years and we have a 17-year difference in our ages.
And it's taken us 3 times to get this introduction right.
So we've made it through the first 3 sentences, so we're on the road now. We're good to go. Today's topic is going to be what were and maybe are some of our biggest challenges since we got married so long ago. I want to start off by saying I don't think we've had any huge challenges. We pretty much gel. Get along pretty good. But one of the
Pretty good.
Well, good. But one of the I guess concerns that we talked about before we ever got married were finances, and I think that's with any couple. So our finances was our main, I wouldn't say challenge, but topic before we got married, and we kind of decided how we were going to handle things as far as how money was handled. Were we going to have separate accounts? Were we going to combine our money and do everything joint? And that's pretty much what we did. So
where it was, you have to get back to your core beliefs. If you believe that in a marriage that both people should have access to the finances, which we do believe, then you need to make that happen. And for us, we was running the business, and then I had a job, she had a job, and so combining the finances, I'll tell you what I did. I give her the option. I said, look, you can either run the household budget and I'll run the karate school, or you can do the school and I'll do the house. And so she decided she would take the karate school. And then that was a good decision, actually. And that lasted for about a week. And as we was getting used to this, I thought to myself, wow, now I might have made a big mistake, because I was used to having the karate school, because the karate school was always my, I don't want to say mad money, but it was kind of like blow money. I used the money that I got paid for my job to run the house, and the money from the karate school was just like vacation money. It was just blow money. So I thought I would rather have access to that, because see, I don't really have to explain all of that, but the household budget you do have to explain. So we was talking one day, and I thought, well, I said, how you doing with the budget and everything like that? Well, she says it takes a while to get used to. I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just switch back around? And because you're going to be running the inside of the house, you may as well do the finances on the house. And she bought into that, and that's what I did.
Well, I have a little bit different version of that. I wanted the household budget because when he ran the martial arts school, the budget, and this was again 32 years ago, he was the type of person that would be, I'm not going to pay, not that he didn't have the money, but he would just not pay a light bill one month, and he would double pay it the next month, or the phone bill or whatever. So, and I'm like, you can't do that with this household budget. We're not doing that. So in the end, I did end up taking over the household budget, and we did fine. I mean, we both know where the money goes, what's coming in, what's going out, and we're fine with that. Never really was a person that believed in being married and having separate finances. This is my money, this is your money. I mean, we share everything. Our names are on everything, whether it be credit cards, the house, the cars, whatever. I mean, it's a partnership. So that's the way we handle that.
Took us a while to get it straightened out, but we got it straightened out.
Yeah, and in the beginning, it's funny because we had 2 boys, they're twins, in college, and we had co-signed on their student loans. So right after we had got married, we had a small car, which was a fine. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. But we went to get a loan for another used car, and we couldn't qualify for the loan because of the debt that was showing up for the student loans. So
they said you're too poor.
That was kind of funny. I mean, to be 2 working people and couldn't get a car loan. But
that was the first time that ever happened in my lifetime. I thought, well, this is kind of a different feeling,
Yeah, and it was different because we knew we weren't paying the loans back. We knew that the boys were paying their loans back, but we had to sign for them. So, but anyways, it's all good. All that's over with. So, finances are good now. We're making it. So, number 2, our next, I would say, maybe a challenge, was like our social groups, because I had a small set of friends. Rob had a small set of friends, and to learn to gel with everybody, meet and greet everybody, and get along with everybody. It took us a bit to be able to do that, and it took a while for people to be comfortable having us around with the age difference as well. So
Yeah, because if you was going to go to a function with a bunch of Gen Xers, is that what you are, Gen Xer?
I guess yeah,
And I'm a baby boomer.
Gen Z, not Gen Z.
Yeah, she's a Gen Z. I'm going to go to a social
guess.
group with a bunch of Gen Z people. I'm a baby boomer. There's going to be a little age gap there, so you kind of got to get used to that. I mean, and we did,
Yeah.
and it's all good. I can talk to anybody. I can talk with anybody.
And most of our acquaintances, and I would say our social group, were through the martial arts school anyway. So we all, and that's another thing that I had to get used to, was a schedule, because back then we were running the school, and it was 4 nights a week. I mean, so took a while to get used to being busy 4 nights a week, and to still handle everything at home. But we did. We made it work. So easy
Well,
enough.
she had to make it her lifestyle. It was my lifestyle for years, and so it's an adjustment for her. You go from, working 9 to 5 and going home and staying there, and then suddenly you're in this group to where most of the activity happens in the evening.
Yes.
And you're not home, so
Constantly
it's,
running.
Yeah, it's always an adjustment. Good adjustment.
Yeah. So speaking of the baby boomer, Gen Z, Gen X, whatever, I don't pay any attention to those labels. He does, but whatever.
It's generations. I mean, it's age
Yeah.
differences.
So another thing that we had to get used to, a small challenge was maybe music. So my music was from the 70s, some 80s. I'm a yacht rock kind of person. I love.
Yeah.
It's what they call it now, yacht rock music, like Little River Band, love them, things
Yeah,
like that,
okay.
love them,
Yeah.
hates it. Didn't listen to any music in the 80s that wasn't,
Not much at all.
not much at all. But he's a John Denver, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young kind of music, which to me, I just do not like. But we learned to get along and listen to it. So if he listens to his music and I'm around, I might poke a little fun at it, but I'll let it go. I'll just listen to it. I'm good. I like all kinds of music, except for that.
Yeah, except
But
for that.
he listens to his music, and then my music from the 70s and 80s, he despises it. Makes fun of me. You still listening to that stuff? I love it. I love fun music. I like happy music. And he doesn't. He calls that bubblegum music, right?
No, I don't call it bubble. I don't call it anything, because in the '80s I didn't listen to much music anyway. Somebody asked me one time years ago, "Do you like Johnny Cougar?" I said, "Well, who is it? You don't know who Johnny Cougar is?" I said, "No, I don't do much music, because at the time I was more like on a sabbatical studying martial arts, doing this, that, and the other. And honestly, I just didn't get off into music. However, I did learn who John Mellencamp was. Did learn to like his music. I learned about Michael Jackson and liked some of his music. So I did.
Yeah.
I'm an open-minded guy,
Right.
but I'm not a lyric kind of a guy. I'm more of a melody kind of guy, and so.
And I'm the opposite. You put a song on, and I probably know the words to it. So
She says the only song that I like to listen to, the only music that I like to listen to, is music where people are kind of like loaded or getting loaded or thinking about getting loaded, but that's really not the case. It's, just a thing.
anyways. Another thing with our age difference was cooking.
I'm a cook.
Well, no, he's a fryer. He likes to fry everything. I'm was more of a very health conscious, watch everything I ate kind of person. So with multiple children in the house, teenagers. I had to do a lot of learning how to cook. I wouldn't say that my mom ever taught me a lot to cook, so I kind of had to learn it on my own. Got lots of cookbooks and learned what everybody liked, and we just made it work. So
What she did, she learned to cook to keep herself from getting fat,
right.
which I would not want to eat the way I cooked years ago, because see, there's a difference there, because the baby boomer, they grew up eating all this fried stuff, meat, potatoes, and fried this, fried that, and and she doesn't do that. I mean, she will not fry bacon.
No, I will not.
See? Which is good. We're better for it, because you have to make adjustments to a diet. I mean,
Yeah. So moving on. And again, at the end of this, we want to know what you guys think about a lot of these subjects. So we'll touch back on that in a minute. Years into our marriage, 9 or so years, we ended up with having another child. So I had our last son at the age of 35, and Rob was 50.
hey, yeah.
So we had to learn to accommodate childcare. So we are firm believers. I'm not a big person that wants my kid to go to a babysitter. You have to do it sometimes. Everybody knows that. If you're working full-time job and you can't work around it, then you have to find babysitters. We were lucky enough to where we were able to adjust our jobs. So I was working a full-time job in IT, and I was lucky enough to have an employer that let me go part-time for a couple years, and then I actually got to work from home one day a week back then. So it worked out well. And then in the summertime, Rob had saved up his vacation time, so he was able to stay home a lot. So between the two of us, childcare was a concern, but we made it work.
The biggest adjustment that I made to make this work was I left the job that I really, really liked, and I had an opportunity to go. It was a biweekly job. I had an opportunity to go into a union where you could make a whole lot more money, and then you could take your overtime that you worked, which there was a lot of overtime, and you could turn it into comp time, which was time off. And plus, and I don't necessarily agree with this, I wouldn't run a business this way, but this is the way the union worked. I could be out on a job and decide I want to go home and tell the boss I'm leaving, and he would say, okay, go ahead. You could do that. I mean, I know it sounds strange, but honestly, you could do that. And so I really didn't like this job. I mean, you wouldn't know it if you talked to me, unless we was in private, but I didn't act like I didn't like that job. I always stayed positive on the job and with the people around me, but honestly, I hated it. And there was a part of that job that involved plowing snow in the wintertime. Hated it. There again, you wouldn't know it, but I could take all that time I plowed snow, and you could comp that time, turn it into time off. So in the summertime, I didn't work. I just took all that time off. And here again, like she said, we believe that kids need to be watched by their parents.
If possible.
Yes, and they need to have what I call a normal upbringing. You eat dinner at the dinner table. You eat at a specific time. You give this child the foundation to help them in the future, and I think that's very, very important. And that mother needs to be with that child,
if possible.
Now, if that's a boomer comment, that's okay, but that's just what we believe in. That kind of challenged us, and we had to make that was probably the biggest challenge we had, because we both had to make changes, and
we had to adjust our budget.
Yeah.
Because I worked less hours, so there was less money coming in. So that goes back into the finance challenge. But we made it all work out, and they're all grown college graduates now, and so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Our last challenge that we're going to talk about real quick is retirement. Rob is 73 and retired when he was 62. I am still working. I got a ways to go. Financially, I could retire, at 59 and a half and start, pulling money. However, the biggest issue with that would be healthcare. So I don't want to pay for health care out of pocket. It's bad enough paying it through my work, paying the premiums. So it's going to be on down the road before I can retire. So the challenge with that was he was at home, I was going to work. That's hard to do. That is hard to do when you want to be home doing whatever the heck he wanted to do or whatever I want to do, but I had to get up every morning and go to work. So, I mean, it had its perks because he was able to take our youngest child back and forth to school, which helped out. But it took a bit to get used to with him being home, but he helped out. He picked up with the chores at home. You know, I wouldn't have to worry about coming home and cleaning and stuff. I did come home and cook because, again, we don't let him cook. But yeah, so that retirement was an issue in the beginning, and then after COVID hit, I was able to work from home and still working from home, so that's worked out great. So those are our biggest challenges. I wouldn't say, you know, we struggled with any of them, but it takes some time to get used to certain things, and you just got to work through them. So our question to you is, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced? Did you face any at all? Did you work through them? Did they turn into battles, or did you just kind of sail through it and move on? You know, we'd like to know what you think, and if you would have handled anything differently than we did. So that's it. I think
That's all I got
okay
about this. Now, we have a lot more, but we kind of, even the subject of having a child when you're older, that's a trip in itself.
Yep.
I mean, we should write a book about that because that's a trip in itself. But we'll get off into that. It's all good.
Yep. So we like to see your comments. We love to reply to them. So please comment to us, subscribe, and give us your thumbs up. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.